Phil Batway says, do you think we will see Mustafa Ali at AEW All Out? And it's a great question because I do think we will. Mustafa Ali's from Chicago. Mustafa Ali just left TNA. I don't feel like Mustafa Ali would have left TNA if it wasn't for getting a deal with a company that is also on TV. In the situation for AEW, Mustafa Ali would be a great signing. I think Mustafa Ali has one of the coolest characters. When he departed WWE NXT and went to TNA and New Japan, we saw what he was doing. I thought he knocked it out of the park, to be honest. And I feel like with AEW, it's great that you have a lot of great wrestlers. I feel like some wrestlers are just really good wrestlers, but they lack an identity. And I feel like Mustafa Ali has a gimmick that's going to get over. I think Mustafa Ali has a gimmick that is going to win. And also, I think he'll get a great reaction in Chicago. Obviously, nobody has confirmed whether or not Mustafa Ali will be in AEW. I've heard rumors that that is a possibility. So, Phil, to answer your question, I think we do see it happen. I also like the fact that it's not being talked about, because if it does happen, I think it's going to be a little bit more genuine of a shock. I think Tony Khan is notorious for having great surprises at AEW All Out, and we'll obviously talk more about the card and the predictions, but I do think so. I think for AEW, by the way, if you bring in Mustafa Ali, you get a great character, you get a great wrestler, you get a guy with great work ethic. I also think it would be really good for AEW to bring in Mustafa Ali and let him work New Japan, let him work in Mexico, let him work in the UK, let him do that, right? Like, let him be the guy. Look, I love so much. I love talking about the International Championship, and I understand. Will Ospreay and Ricochet, probably the feud that's going to happen. But I want somebody to take that belt with them everywhere. I want to see that belt show up in multiple different promotions, multiple different indies around the world. Mustafa Ali has the perfect gimmick to hold that belt. And I just feel like Mustafa Ali would bring a lot of excitement to AEW. I'm not saying Mustafa Ali is going to turn AEW from 600,000 viewers to 2 million viewers. Not one person is going to do that. I talk about Shane McMahon. I talk about people. It's not that. It's a collective thing that needs to happen. But for AEW, the way that I kind of look at it is, if you put great talent with great storylines and great characters, and you don't do it just once or twice, but you do it several times, I feel like that is going to be the thing that ultimately gets people hooked. And because Mustafa Ali left TNA, which I'm not going to lie, I was kind of bothered by it because I loved his X Division Championship reign. But when I saw that he left TNA, I think the writing was on the wall. And as you guys all know, WWE is working with TNA. AEW is not. I think that is something that you can keep in mind. I also think if Mustafa Ali were to pull up in AEW and he does work with the other promotions, I think it's a little bit more favorable for him. Some people in the chat are saying, okay, well, what about Mustafa Ali returning to WWE? And I guess technically that is possible. Anything is possible. But I don't think WWE wants Mustafa Ali and that character, which was the reason why they did not keep him. The thing is with Mustafa Ali's character, which, by the way, this is probably going to turn into a rant, so I'm just warning you guys. But Mustafa Ali has a character that TV networks would deem too controversial. And first of all, in pro wrestling, controversy creates cash. But pro wrestling is no different than any of the other scripted shows on Fox or on TBS. It's not. I don't know why wrestling is the industry that, like, TV networks want to slap on the wrist, because I swear, I watch Law and Order and NCIS, and I watch all these shows, all these crime scene shows. I watch all these different, whatever. All these scripted shows have a little bit of controversial characters in them, but for some reason in pro wrestling, when a wrestler wants to portray a political character in some capacity, it's considered controversial. And I don't know. I don't like that. I don't agree with it. I've never been one to agree with that. I've never been one to like that. Because to be honest with you, it's scripted. So for whatever reason, WWE and USA and Fox, like, they didn't want that character on TV. They didn't want it on TV. I don't know why. It was very silly. But I feel like the gimmick would work in AEW, and I do feel like Mustafa Ali going to AEW and being on Warner Bros. Discovery, I feel like maybe they would be a little bit more lenient about that. So if I were Mustafa Ali, I would go to AEW. And I understand that there's going to be a lot of people too that also say that maybe AEW is, bloated roster. Trust me, I get it. I know. But Ricky Starks is probably on his way out. I'm sure there's other wrestlers that Tony Khan's waiting for their contracts to expire. I'm sure not every single wrestler in that company has a full-time deal. So, yeah, I very much can see a situation where Mustafa Ali joins the company at All Out. I will say I don't think it happens at the time that Shane McMahon debuts. If Shane McMahon were to debut at AEW All Out, I don't think there's going to be an association. Because whatever Jon Moxley and Marina Shafir have, I don't think it really makes sense for Mustafa Ali to join that faction. The vision that I'm seeing for that faction, I don't think aligns with Mustafa Ali. And I don't think Mustafa Ali should be brought into a faction where he's playing second fiddle to a Jon Moxley. So I do see it being a scenario where it is separated. And some people will say, well, hold on, Ango. Why would AEW do multiple debuts? That's what All Out is known for. And I said this before. I was there, 2021, Ruby Soho, Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson. I mean, surprise after surprise. Tony Khan, he needs to keep people excited. Do it at All Out. Do it at All Out. Get these surprises out of the way. Whatever you had planned, whatever you had cooking, do it right now. And hopefully use that momentum as a way to build your TV show, because yeah, they are struggling to get viewers. And they'll eventually come back around, but eventually fans will come back around. Eventually AEW will get it figured out. It really comes down to marketing. I think perception is reality, and I think AEW right now is losing the perception war to WWE. I don't think that's a secret. The only way to catch back up is by continuously putting out great TV. Right now, that's what they seem to be doing for the most part. I feel like this year has been a lot better for them. Bring in Mustafa Ali. What about Lashley and the Hurt Syndicate? That could also happen, right? There's a lot of possibilities, but yeah, I do think so. Hopefully that answers your question, Phil. Thank you for the super chat.